Welcome to the Peachtree Podcast. Peachtree Learning Center is a nonprofit in Middle Tennessee dedicated to training and discipling students in all the fine arts to become excellent and skilled in order to spread the kingdom of God into the world of the arts. On this podcast, we will discuss topics designed to encourage, uplift, educate, and equip people to proclaim the kingdom more deeply in their own families and communities.
Welcome to Peachtree's podcast today. We're in the middle of a very cold piece of winter, but lots of sunshine today, which we're grateful for. It does make us feel more alive to see the sunshine after several days of snow-covered skies. So we're very happy that the sun is back out. It's been a very cozy week. We've sadly not been at Peachtree much because of the weather. Lots of ice on our roads, and here in Tennessee, we just don't spend a lot of money on snow equipment and ice removal equipment because it doesn't happen often enough to warrant those kinds of huge purchases. So here we sit, kind of struggling to get through a winter snap, but also really grateful for the circumstances that have made us be indoors and play more games and read and do more puzzles and just kind of rest up a little bit more. For us at Peachtree, we have a really big semester planned, so I think once we hit the ground running again, we're not going to stop. And one of the big things that we're going to talk about this week and next week on our podcast is our upcoming Readers and Authors Workshop. I think we're calling it a Readers Writers Workshop. It's really for people who just like books, and it doesn't matter if you like to read them or if you like to write them or you want to write them or you want to know how to read better. All those people are qualified and will get something from our workshop. We have some great authors coming, and we're super excited about the group of people that's coming to speak. And we're going to talk a lot that day about the difference in good reading versus just reading for the sake of reading. And we've taken that mindset into our lobby library, and we started with, I think, about 100 donated books that we sort of curated out of donations and boxes of old things that people donated. We pulled out books that we thought were uplifting, encouraging, books that are provoking for thought, books that are maybe instructive in some way about history, or books that are just create empathy, or books that are creative and imaginative. And we sort of weed out books that are character-driven or preachy or have some kind of agenda behind them. We take all of that out. We really want our library to be a place of reading that's creative and imaginative, and yet also sometimes very informative about a specific type of story or a person's story or a people group even. We have a lot of books that have to do with history. Even in the picture book section, we have quite a few books that are historical in nature, and it's just a lot of fun to collect those kinds of books and put them all in a space for students to come and look, and families sit in our lobby and read a whole lot. And that's just a very gratifying thing, because reading is an excellent discipline, also an excellent creative outlet, and something that God obviously wants us to do, because he communicated with us only in book form, right? For all the ages, he's given us a book, and he wants us to read the book. So I think that's one reason that reading has actually been under attack, and it's been under attack several times through history. And we're going to kind of touch on that a little bit today. Anyway, so welcome, and we are holding a workshop. So writing is something it's a creative pursuit, but it's not something we've had a lot of teaching on regularly at Peachtree. We've, from time to time, had a creative writing class that happened 1 or 2 years in a row. I think we had that, and it was a write a novel in a year type class, which was a great way to just encourage you to write if you have that in your heart to do as a student. It was a great way to get you into that and just get you motivated to do it. But we want to talk today about why reading is important, and I want to talk about our workshop that's coming up. So we have a Readers Writers Day on February 17th. So we have a group of authors coming that day, and several of them are best-selling authors. They're all located here in Middle Tennessee. The one that's coming the furthest is Dr. Carolyn Weber, and she has been a professor at several colleges around in different areas. She is from Canada originally, but ended up at Oxford University and then was a professor there for a while. She has taught at other schools and currently resides in Nashville and teaches at New College Franklin, which is in Franklin, Tennessee. And she's got several degrees in different forms of literature and how to write. So we're going to be welcoming several authors who are based in Middle Tennessee to our workshop that day. And the workshop itself is not necessarily geared towards making you do writing exercises, but it's really geared to make you think about what you read And if you want to be a writer or you're already a writer and need encouragement, it's going to help you just kind of refocus, hopefully, refine your thoughts about what you want to write and how you want to write. Dr. Carolyn Weber is coming. She's from Canada originally, but ended up at Oxford as a student and then as a professor. She currently resides in Nashville and teaches at New College Franklin, and she is coming out to speak about a topic that apparently is dear to her heart as well as ours. She's going to be talking about reading and the importance of reading good books and how it shapes a person. And one of my favorite quotes about reading actually came from Lamplighter Publishing, which we used to read tons of and purchase from when my own family was homeschooling. And the owner mentioned several times on his programs that people are shaped by the other people that they meet and the books that they read. And I've pondered that a lot. And I see that in my own life. I see that I'm shaped by the books I read as a child. The books that I read over and over and over really helped me kind of form the person I was going to be in some ways. And I'm not certainly discounting anything that the scriptures have done. Obviously, washing yourself in the water of the word is the most powerful thing you can do. But shaping your imagination or solidifying certain tenets of your personality that really need to be honed for living purposefully and living creatively can come from reading books, or empathy can be developed from reading books about history and other people and how they dealt with situations. Or if you want to understand a culture, you go and read books and read stories about those people. It really helps you understand other people. And that is something that makes us human, which is a characteristic of being closer to God, is just being more human. And we talked about that last week in our podcast. So Dr. Weber is going to come and she's going to talk about reading good books and how they can inform us as people. And she's also going to talk about her literary journey and what shaped her into a writer and what kind of prompted her to be a writer and to start writing. She's written in several genres, including poetry. I'm really excited to hear her speak about that. She's going to be doing that in the 9 o'clock hour. And then at 10 o'clock, she's going to be joined in a separate session by Jolena Petersheim, who's also a local resident. She's written several very beautiful works of fiction about kind of weaving in and out of the Amish community and speaking to family life and being a woman in those situations, and just weaving faith in her stories is a really powerful tool. She's a best-selling author, won several awards for her writing, and they're going to be talking at 10 o'clock about just how they got to started writing and kind of what led them on that journey, how they found publishers and that kind of thing. So if you're an aspiring writer or already writing but would like to know how other people do it, that'll be a great hour, a very powerful testimony of how they've done what they're doing as women of faith. And then we're going to have a little break, and we'll have several vendors in the lobby that are going to be selling some really fun, creative things. We've got 2 local bookshops coming to sell different types of books. And then we've got 2 shops that are actually not located here, but they're sharing their goods with us that day. And we're going to have some really creative bookish merch set up on tables, and snack time and meet the authors time. You can get your book signed. And then we're going to come back together at 11:30 and have a panel discussion. And we're going to be joined at that point by the other 2 authors who are there that day. So they'll have a 10 o'clock session on how to write as young people. And this is Brianne Pryor and a girl who goes by the pen name of Grace Edgewood. She's from here. And they've both actually written young adult literature that has hit the bestseller lists, and they've had very good success with finding an audience for their stories. And they will be talking at the 10 o'clock hour to younger people about how to get published and how to figure out what genre to write for, and even sharing what books kind of informed their lives. And then at 11:30, they're going to join that panel. And we're also going to be joined by Dr. Chris McMichael, who has written a book. He's written several books, but the latest book he's written is Redemptive Botany. And he's done an extensive research project on plants of the scriptures and how they are, what they are, and why they might have been mentioned the way they were. I think the numbers I saw were 6,700 scripture references that talk about different kinds of plants in the Bible. And so we're going to hear from him in that panel as well. And just from across the board, we're going to listen to them tell a little bit about themselves and how they each have found a redemption in their creativity and how they've been able to use those gifts. Each of them has a unique story in that way. And then we're going to take questions. So anybody that's there is going to be up to offer questions. We can let them answer those at that time, and we'll let that go on until about 1 o'clock at the latest, and then we'll be through. So it's just a half a day of some really great resources and sharing and encouragement, lots of fun things to do. A lot of fellowship will happen. I know you'll enjoy it if you get to come. It's a topic that's very dear to our hearts, just the idea of sharing good stories, because that's what God did. When he wrote his book, he shared good stories, and we're all drawn to good storytelling in one form or another. It sometimes doesn't end well, but it's always powerful to find a story that rings true in you and can resonate with you and in a deep way. And so I'm very excited about this workshop coming up. I'm very excited about getting to share these authors and their stories and using them to prick other people into creative pursuits, and also maybe even encourage you to be a better reader and to read really great literature in your home. So make a plan to come out and join us. We're very thrilled to be offering this, and stay tuned for more opportunities to learn about writing as a creative discipline in our near future. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for joining us today. To support this podcast, please go follow us on your podcast platform of choice. And if you're interested in knowing more about the work of Peachtree, please go visit our website at peachtreelearningcenter.com for more information.